Hey, morning everybody. Today we've got food plot stuff going in. It's almost August 1st. There is a chance of rain tomorrow night and Thursday. It's July 29th right now. So what I'm doing is we're going to be putting in brassicas, and then here about a month from now, month and a half, about September 15th, opening day here in Missouri, I'm going to be planting winter wheat on top of the brassicas. It's just something new that I'm trying this year as far as food plot goes. As you can see behind me, we got standing corn, and we're actually going to disc right through some of the corn. I've already done it. You can kind of see my dirt path here along the edge of the corn, but we're actually going to drive through and make some strips and kind of show you how that's going to go. And anyways, I've got the skid steer with me and the disc itself, and we're gonna just drive a straight line through. We want 45-degree angles and then some straight lines, and the reason I'm doing this is for access. So right where my skid steer is, there's going to be a line here for getting out into my open field, and what's going to happen is those deer will work their way through the corn and the brassicas and the winter wheat and then out into the open field close to dark. I've noticed on this property most of my hunts are going to be in the evening, probably not in the morning. Reason for that is just not a great spot to try to get in the morning. No matter what I do, I've done 3 hours before sunlight. I've shown up 30 minutes. I've tried pretty much every scenario you can. Just not a good place to try to come in the morning. So this is pretty much just an evening spot on my property, and it's pretty much, well, it's the only spot on my property. So over here is the creek bottom, and then on the other side of the creek is 20 acres, 25 acres of timber. And the way that's going to work is the deer will funnel out from my woods. They like to use the creek for access. The bucks do, the big bucks do. I've noticed that the last 2 years they really use that creek as a travel corridor. And they do come out into my field because my timber lot is the last timber lot. It actually ends right over here. You can kind of see daylight through there. That's where it goes back to ag. And this year we're leaving standing corn, so they got grain. They're going to have winter wheat, which is another grain, and then we're going to have brassicas. Purple top turnips is what we're actually going to plant, nothing but purple top turnips. So I've got 20 pounds to plant this whole entire place. I've got, I'm going to be putting in 6 or 7 strips through here, and then the whole exterior all the way around is going to be planted in brassicas too. It's just something new I'm trying this year as far as the winter wheat. I've never tried it. Just want to add a little bit of tonnage so that way they've got something to eat through the fall, into the winter, and then early next spring before I come in and knock all this corn down, so that way my farmer can plant beans. It'll be beans next year. So every year this will rotate. They'll be planting my food plots for me, and then I'll come in and do the rest of the stuff that needs to get done. So basically how this is going to work for my access is every strip will be an access point. Like right here, right behind me is a tree, a couple trees that I can get up in right here. This cluster of trees right here I can get into. And then pretty much from there, you know, this access, they'll be coming up out of the creek, walking straight through that access, and that access will give me a perfect broadside shot as they're walking through there. That's the whole idea anyway. And then I've got 3 or 4 other places to set up tree stands and some saddle setups and things like that. I do kind of both. I don't 100% hunt saddle. I don't 100% hunt out of a tree stand. It all just kind of depends on what I see on camera and what I see in person when I do come down here and hunt. But as far as that goes, I've got a couple good shooters on camera this year. At least I'm hoping. And I know I've got one for sure. He comes around almost daily. but there's a couple that are kind of hit and miss. They show up here and there on about 10 or 20 photos, and then they disappear for a couple weeks and then they come back. So hopefully one of those will kind of show themselves this year to me and get an opportunity at one of those. But this year, that's the plan for 2025, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity at one. Trying to make it the best possible scenario for all these deer this year. And we've got a little spot right here that opens up that the corn didn't take, so I just disc that up, and that'll go in brassicas too. And then right here is a good spot for a possible setup. You could put a tree stand in either one of those trees, or maybe that big one back there just a little bit. And we walk down. About halfway down, I flipped the angle, so this is about 300 to 400 yards of corn that's about 20 to 30 yards wide. And what I've done, like right here, there's this strip right here. Well, I can set up in some of those trees there, or these trees right down here cluster. But what I did with the 45 is I came in, and there's, I think, a total of 6, either 5 or 6, but I came in at a 45. That way everything's going towards the middle of the farm once the crops are out, if that makes sense. They'll be working their way out to the field, but they'll be working their way to the middle of it. And I plan on putting a redneck blind down in a little hole that's on the other side of the corn. When the corn's picked, a little waterway back there, I'm going to put hay bale blind, and I'll use that for rifle if I have to. But the main purpose of this is getting one with a bow. I've actually got, here's the next little 45-degree spot that I want to get to and show you, because I got a perfect tree right here. I even made this one a little bit wider. It's almost 2 skid steer widths wide. But basically I'll bring in my bike, park it right there on the edge, slip in right here, walk down Nebraska, then come in and put a stand right in that tree right in the middle. That one right there. That's where the tree will go, where the tree stand will go. That's the plan anyway. And I realize that most of these are, most of these scenarios on here aren't the best, because I can only hunt this place with a south wind. And reason being is a north wind would blow all my scent into the bedding, because that way is south. All the 20 acres, 25 acres of timber is all south of me, and I got the food plots on this side. But basically what's going to happen is my scent is going to blow over the corn and out into the field, which isn't ideal. But any south wind we can hunt. So like if I get a southwest wind, which would be that way, my ideal spot would be down there on that end of the timber, because I can hunt the fence line down there. And then if we get a southeast, hunt more down this way and have that wind blowing out into my neighbor's field instead of mine. And then like if we get a real windy day, 15, 20 mile an hour or more, that'll be when I definitely slip in the middle here, or at least try to, and get up on one of these bucks. But that's my ultimate plan here anyway. I've done this now, it's been about 5 years of doing this, but the deer have finally started using it the way that I want them to. And without that, I don't know if I would keep doing this. It took 3 years alone just to finally kill a deer out here by doing this and changing things up down here in my bottoms. Because before it used to be 100% crop for ag, nothing more. All right, this right here is going to be a new tree stand, and I'll turn the camera around. But as you can see, we've got one trail right here, another trail going out to ag right there. This stays up against the timber line, and then back behind us here around on the other side is this trail here. So we've got 3 different trails coming through here, and I'm trying to do that on each tree. That's the goal this year. Each tree stand I set up is what I want, where I want a travel corridor coming from ag out to here into the brassicas, and then trail the entire way along the field edge. Almost forgot, I am drenched. All right, well, that took just a little bit over an hour to plant everything, and I used probably 18 pounds or so of that 20. I got a couple pounds left, so if I miss a spot that I notice in a couple weeks, I'll come back here and plant in some dry spots or whatever needs to be done. But like I said, I'm gonna put another 100 pounds down in these same strips of winter wheat. So they're gonna have brassicas, winter wheat, and corn to eat this fall. And I'm really hoping that I get an opportunity at one this year, but we'll see. Anyways, like always, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you. Y'all have a good one.